This, to me, for Daniel Smith, is desperation. She's desperate because things are not going well with her. What her negotiation tactics is just cry and complain, and people don't want to hear it anymore. So now she's only got one option: the U.S. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Consider This. Today, what we're going to talk about is Daniel Smith and her decision to bring alcohol manufactured or made in the U.S. back into their liquor stores. I think there's more to the story than really what people are talking about. It's show a sign of desperation on her part, on things not going well in terms of the negotiation with the tariffs and the opportunities that Alberta has for the future. Okay, let's go over it. So, as you guys have heard, Alberta is now in the process of buying U.S. Made alcohol and lottery machines. It only lasted 3 months that they had banned the sale of that. All the other provinces, except for Saskatchewan, they actually follow suit, are now allowing alcohol made in the U.S. to be sold in their province again. So Saskatchewan and Alberta have reversed course on their ban, but all the other provinces and territories in Canada are steadfast and not changing the direction on that, which is a good choice. So the Service Alberta Minister, Dale Nally, said Friday that the move signals a renewed commitment to open and fair trade with the United States. I understand what they're trying to do is to show good faith, that there's room to negotiate, that they're there they're there at the table trying to get the same outcome. But this is BS. And the reason why is Canada, when the initial tariffs were put against Canada, they implemented a $1.3 billion border policy to increase personnel, equipment, monitoring equipment, drones, Blackhawks, more communication between agencies. I don't know how much more of a goodwill we had shown towards the states that they're still continuing with this tariff war. So this idea that buying alcohol and lottery machines from the US is going to make any sort of dent or signal them that we have furthered our commitment to trade with them is BS. And another reason is Trump has no plan. We don't understand, or nobody understands what he wants or what his goal is. The original complaint by the US by Donald Trump was fentanyl. The amount of fentanyl that enters the US through Canada is 3/4 of a pound. That equates to 0.2% of the total fentanyl that enters the US. Majority of it, like everybody has said, is through Mexico. But that was his sticking point, or that they subsidize Canadian manufacturing, which is, again, doesn't understand the terms of how trade works. They buy a product and they pay for it. It's not subsidized. Anyways, and then the idea that, Trump is trying to bring back manufacturing for the American workers. So if that's the case, it doesn't matter what Daniel Smith does to show good faith. His goal is to bring back manufacturing. They don't want to do trade with us. So it's either the fentanyl, bringing back trade, or trying to get a better deal that we have between us, U.S., and Mexico is up for renegotiation soon. So people say this is a tactic to renegotiate with the better terms, which at the end of the day, he renegotiated that back in his first term. So if he has anybody to be upset about how it's an unfair deal, it's up to him, or was on him. But he keeps flip-flopping. That's why he's got the nickname Taco. Trump always chickens out. You can't negotiate with somebody who doesn't actually have a plan. Fentanyl, unfair trade deal, or trying to bring back manufacturing. Which one is it? Can't be all three, can only be one. So how do you negotiate with somebody like that? This, to me, for Danielle Smith, is desperation. She's desperate because things are not going well with her. So is it David Eby, the Premier of BC, recently made a comment. Show you. Made a comment where they're not going to be entertaining any pipeline to the west. Basically told Danielle Smith to kick rocks. Quote here is, Eby added that he understands Smith is keen on such a project, just as Ontario Premier Doug Ford is keen on tunnel underneath the 401. Basically, it ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. So you got no pipeline going to the west, and going to the east, you got Premier Scott Moe of Saskatchewan. He's on board. He's already made the message, or he's told people that he's basically pre-approved anything that comes across his desk. They're going to have no issues. Manitoba, whole other issue. I don't think they're have any interest in dealing with Alberta or having a pipeline go through their province. And then going to having a pipeline. So you have the option, bringing it to Hudson Bay. Then you have to create a port there for the infrastructure. Then you have to deal with the seasonal ice, needing icebreakers, because it's very dangerous for those tankers. You don't want oil spilling all over Hudson Bay. So the season, it's a seasonal logistics problem. Or you can go through Ontario, Quebec, and into the Maritime provinces. So you have 2 to 3 more provinces to deal with to bring a pipeline through. Ontario, I can see them going along with it. Quebec, I don't know. They really don't need it. The Maritime provinces, yeah, but then you can have pushback with the local residents, with all those oil tankers in the area, and so on and so forth. Let alone the cost to bring it from Alberta to East Coast. And if it gets approved with federal funding, provinces and whatnot, it's going to be a decade before they get that pipeline built, if it happens. They need to be distributing that oil now. Because the longer you take to get it to market, the less likely clients are going to need you in the future. Especially now, there's an argument that the amount of oil is not going to increase as time goes on. It's actually going to stabilize as it is right now and lower, less demands. I know there's a lot of out there that say EVs are not the future, they're junk, whatever. That's a whole other argument, but I'm sorry, you're wrong. Let alone the cost of extracting the oil from Alberta. There's 1,000 other places that could be taken out easier, faster, and with less cost. And Premier Danielle Smith knows this. The only ones that she's got option to now is the US. And she's desperate. This is a good prelude to what would happen to Alberta if they separated from Canada. We could see what's already going on right now. Nobody wants to work with them because they've been crying. Everybody's against us. Alberta has been taken advantage of. Nobody wants to deal with a whiner. Nobody wants to deal with somebody who complains all the time and say things are unfair. Just like nobody wants to deal with Trump. Everybody's against me. The world is unfair. We're the best. Everybody relies on us. Sounds like Danielle Smith to me. So what negotiating powers does she have? I've gone over this on a previous video. I'm going to put a link in the description so you can take a look at it. For you Albertans, do you not understand that she's not a good negotiator, let alone a leader? There should be someone there to fight for you. But there's a time and a place where you need to just sit back and just listen. She's not doing that. What her negotiation tactics is just cry and complain. And people don't want to hear it anymore. So now she's only got one option, the US. And what do you think Trump's going to do? Even for all his faults, he could smell weakness. Anybody could smell weakness. And this reeks of desperation and weakness. So what kind of deal do you think Daniel Smith is going to get for you guys? How much of the potential earnings from the oil are you guys going to get? You guys are going to get rocked worse than what you think Ottawa's been doing to you guys for the last 30, 40 years. This is why you need to be approachable. Your leader needs to be approachable and willing to work with everybody else. There's winners and losers in every single deal. You don't come out winning all the time. And she understands this too, and that's why she's desperate. Because if she doesn't show that she's willing to negotiate, and I mean, not even negotiate, willing to give up a lot, the US is even going to say, we don't need your dirty oil, because it's dirty, it's costly. It takes a lot of resources and takes a lot of money to extract that oil from the oil sands. They can go to other countries and get oil cheaper and faster than Alberta. And she knows that. And Alberta, guys, that's your only export. That's the only thing you're known for is your oil. You have no other industry. You as a leader, she should have been using that revenue, using those resources to get other industries into Alberta. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. It's insane. I feel bad for you guys. You're losing an opportunity to make your province great, prosperous, and a contender for trade in the rest of the world. Because Canada's going to leave you guys behind because you guys complain all the time. And it's not really you, the people, it's more your leader. So hopefully it's a learning experience for her, which is going to cost you guys a lot of money. But it's such a loss of opportunity that Alberta could have had. And you guys can't blame anybody but your elected representative. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if there's something that I missed. I appreciate your feedback. And we'll talk later. Take care.